Hey, what's up guys, DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we are going to be taking a look at the gear shop, specifically the UA High tab. This is the tab where you get medals from the USJ event. If you aren't grinding out the USJ every day, make sure you are doing that. You can at least use skip tickets to get medals every single day from the USJ, and then you are going to want to be buying these characters that are in the shop, because every time you level up a character's ability board, you are getting 10 gems, so it's a good way to get a free 90 gems if you get the character and then the 2 orbs that come with them. And so today I'm going to be talking about which SR characters in the UA High shop are the most valuable to get. So obviously at the top we have Bakugou, and then the other characters in the shop include Uraka, Lita, Kirishima, and Kaminari. Those are the main SRs available in the shop with orbs, and so we're going to kind of put them in order of who you should be saving for first and who is the best. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at all of their abilities, and then I will explain why each one is where they are in the ranking of who you should get first. Alright, so let's start with Bakugou, since he is at the top, and he is actually the cheapest character to get. That's going to tempt a lot of people to buy him first, but listen to me now, do not buy this Bakugou first. Do not buy him first. Alright, so his plus ultra is armor piercing shot. It deals 350% damage to a single opponent with a low chance of burning the opponent for 3 turns. Also increases the character's power by 30% for 3 turns. And then he has his action skill stun grenade, which deals 150% damage to all opponents with a low chance of blinding opponents for 2 turns. And then his other action skill, Fighting Spirit, which increases character's power by 40% for 3 turns, also increases character's plus ultra gauge by 20%. I really don't like that increase plus ultra gauge that much. It's not that great of an ability on an SR character. And then his auto skills, Lonely Prodigy, increases character's power by 20% when HP is 50% or higher, and then Perfectionist increases character's critical hit rate by 15% when HP is 50% or higher. Personally, this Bakugou, to me, just seems like an inferior version to every other Bakugou in the game. Every other UR Bakugou, whether they're good or bad, is going to be better. Like, for example, this Bakugou's action skill, Fighting Spirit, is not as good as the yellow Bakugou's action skill that raises crit, which is far better than this one. So this Bakugou, I would say, is definitely the last character in the shop that you're going to want, and that's probably why they made him so cheap. So I mean, if you really want an SR character that you can level up quickly, I guess you can get this Bakugou first, but I would recommend getting this Bakugou last, because he's just not very good compared to the other options you have in the shop. Alright, so next, with that said, we're going to look at Uraka, Strong and Soft Uraka. So there's quite a few SR Urakas in the game. I would actually rate this Uraka as one of the top SR Urakas in the game. I think she is very good. So her plus ultra move is Home Run Comet, deals 400% damage to a single opponent, decreases the opponent's power by 15% for 3 turns. That's really good that it's decreasing the opponent's power by 15% for 3 turns for an SR character. And then her action skill, Full-Fledged Support, restores HP of all allies by 15%, also increases power of all allies by 15% for 3 turns. That is amazing. That is almost as good as the UR Uraka, who just gives evasion and heals. And then her other action skill, Zero Gravity Kick, deals 200% damage to a single opponent, decreases the opponent's speed by 15% for 3 turns. This ability is a little more lackluster, it's not as good, but the rest of her kit seems okay, so we'll let it slide. Heroine of Combat Camp increases power of all allied mine-type characters by 10%. That is really good. And then this last one regenerates HP of all allies by 10% for 3 turns when a wave starts. That auto healing is really good. You don't see that with a lot of characters, so that right there makes this Uraka a very good SR character. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether she is the first one you should buy yet, but I'm going to go through the rest of the characters and then I'll kind of put them in order for you from here on out. I will just tell you that Bakugou is definitely dead last. So, moving on to the next character, we have, to be the fastest, Tenulita. This is probably, honestly, my personal favorite character out of the SRs in the USJ shop, mainly because we don't have a UR Lita yet, and I just think his character art is really cool and his costume is really cool. However, I don't know that I would say he's the best, so let's take a look. His plus ultra is Recipro Burst, deals 350% damage to a single opponent. Skill impact is increased relative to the character's speed. So the more speed he has, kind of like Hawks, the more damage he is going to do. And then his first action skill, Somersault Kick, deals 200% damage to a single opponent, also increases character speed by 20% for 3 turns, so very good if you couple that with your plus ultra. And then his Over Torque increases character's plus ultra gauge by 40%, also gives the character ability to use 2 normal attacks for 3 turns. The 2 normal attacks for 3 turns is very good, especially if you put some crit memories on this guy. However, the plus ultra gauge by 40%, as you know, is not that great if you're trying to get all your plus ultras on the same turn. So that's just kind of a meh ability once again on this Tenulita. And then his auto skills, A Family of Heroes, is the first one, increases character speed by 20% for 3 turns when a wave starts. So he's getting 20% speed plus 20% speed from his action skills, so 40% speed. That's really good. And then his other one, Wherever Whenever, increases character's power by 20% when making 2 normal attacks. So he's going to get even stronger with his other action skills. So this is a character that can output a lot of damage if you increase their speed. And so I would rank this Lita as very, very good in terms of damage out of everyone in the shop. I think he probably has some of the most damage. If you're looking for a damage character, this Lita is your guy for the damage. Alright. And then Chivalry Hiroshima. Let's take a look at his skills. So I'm going to start off by saying this Hiroshima is a great alternative to the UR Kiroshimas if you do not have them yet. This is probably the character you are going to want first and foremost if you do not have those Kiroshimas yet. Or perhaps you have the Green Yaoyorozo or the Strength Muscular, then you might not want this Hiroshima that much, but you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So, his plus ultra move is Manly Knuckles. It deals 400% damage to a single opponent, also reduces damage to the character by 40% for 2 turns. That's pretty good for an SR. His action skill is Heroic Blow, deals 200% damage to a single opponent. Skill impact is increased by 30% if the opponent's critical hit rate has been reduced. And then his other action skill, I Will Protect You, gives character ability to cover allies for 2 turns. Also reduces damage to character by 25% for 2 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain. So this is what I was talking about, this action skill where he covers allies. This Hiroshima can do it. The green SR Yaoyorozo can do it. The Strength Muscular can do it. And they all do it fairly well. I wouldn't say anyone really does it better. I guess that's not necessarily true. I would say Yaoyorozo does it slightly better. So if you have that Yaoyorozo, she's going to be slightly better than this Hiroshima. But that ability right there makes this Hiroshima very valuable to people, especially people that don't have the UR Hiroshimas. And then his auto skills, the first one is Companionship, increases the power of all allies that are UA High Class 1A characters by 10%. That is awesome. That is a really good ability, making this guy a really good tank, but also a buffer. And then his other auto skill, a Manly Silhouette, reduces damage to character by 20% for 3 turns when a wave starts. So he's also getting damage cut, basically. The only thing he doesn't have that other Kiroshimas have are barriers, so he's slightly less good than the UR versions, but pretty good for a SR. Okay. And then on to the very last character in the USJ shop that you can get. This is the Kaminari. His plus ultra move is called High Voltage Charge. It deals 400% damage to a single opponent with a low chance of paralyzing the opponent for 1 turn. Also decreases the opponent's speed by 15% for 3 turns. His action skill, Human Stun Gun, deals 250% damage to a single opponent. Low chance of paralyzing the opponent for 1 turn. High chance of confusing the character for 2 turns. Yeah, he's not great. That high chance of confusing the character for 2 turns is himself. He has a high chance of confusing himself, so keep that in mind. Increases character skill impact by 30% for 3 turns. Also prevents the character from getting a status ailment 1 time, so that's okay. So you typically want to use your charge before you use your Human Stun Gun. That way you'll prevent yourself from getting the status ailment of confusion. Seems like how his kit is built, but it's still kind of wonky. All Kaminaris in this game are kind of wonky. The UR one, just looking at the kits, is by far the better choice out of the 2. And then his auto skills are I'm Super Strong, increases character skill impact by 40% when HP is 80% or higher. And then his other one, Electric Maker, increases character skill impact by 40% when HP is below 50%. Also paralyzes the opponent for 1 turn if character's HP is below 30% when attacked. How often are you really going to be below 30% with an SR character, though, that is going to survive? So that's kind of useless. Yeah, that's the Kaminari. I can't say too much about him. He is not my favorite SR character in the shop. So in terms of characters who are the best and who I would get first and who I would get last. So let's see. I would probably say either get the Strong and Soft or Uraka or the Chivalry Kirishima first. They are both very good characters, support characters, kind of protection characters for your team. They help the whole team. Then I would say get the Tenulita. The Tenulita, I have him actually maxed out with the orbs, and I did that for a tower challenge. So that Tenulita is very good for the Blood Stage tower challenge, and he does quite a bit of damage. Once you get him all the way leveled up, he hits around 16,000 damage with just his action skills. So that Tenulita is actually very, very strong for an SR character. I'd put him third on the list. And so once again, I would say Kirishima first, or Uraka second probably, Lita third, and I'm gonna say get the Bakugou before you get the Kaminari. Kaminari is 3,000 points, but Bakugou is actually better. Yeah, get the Bakugou before you get the Kaminari, and then get the Kaminari. The Kaminari is just trash. He is not very good for an SR character, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that need him for certain tower challenges and things like that. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think I'm doing Kaminari dirty by putting him last, or do you think Bakugou should be last? The other characters, there's probably not much debate, but out of those two, let me know which one you think should be last. And I apologize for all the screen flickering. I do need to buy a cord. I do this all through screen sharing, so keep that in mind. I will get a cord and I'll make these videos better with less flickering. But thank you for watching up to this point, if you got up to this point. And if you guys enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. I appreciate y'all. Peace.